Welcome to ongoing series where we speak to some of the executives and in regards to their latest earning numbers. And the most profitable company in Eastern Central Africa, Safaricom, has released its earnings and the numbers are looking great. We'll be speaking to the CFO just to give us some interesting insights in terms of what were the stories behind these numbers and what does the future portend for the company. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me in your show.
Well, some impressive 2026 full year results numbers. Just walk us through some of the key highlights and what were some of the key drivers.
So I'll unpack it in two parts. One is Kenya and Ethiopia because they are in very different stages of the evolution of telecom cycle, right? Ethiopia is a greenfield operation and Kenya is a matured business, right? Starting with Kenya, we are extremely happy with the sustained momentum in Kenya business. Top line grew double digit. This is the third year in a row that we delivered top line double digit growth. And I also mentioned about this year's double digit growth is also the highest ever absolute growth that you have ever seen. Within the top line, I think the quality of growth is important. If you look at the profile of the growth, we have grown 6.9% in connectivity business, pretty much in line with what we said before that we want to grow high single digit in connectivity. Fueled by mobile data, which has grown 14.4%. M-Pesa continued to grow double digit, grew 13.4% with an expanded ecosystem. We still continue to grow values and volumes. Ecosystem is growing, newer services are coming in. So that's the M-Pesa. And the third one is our fixed, still a small contributor to the overall business, but it's a growth segment. We're investing, we are acquiring more customers, and then we see the growth coming in. It's a 12.2% growth. But at the back of it is all the customers. I think I mentioned about it. This is the year where we have the highest growth in customers, which kind of rebuilds the customers' confidence in us. With the 25-year celebration, we have seen momentum across all business segments. And now the quality of earnings, if you now go down further, we have a very efficient cost program that works through this. You have seen that contribution margin improving, leading to a double-digit growth in EBITDA, EBIT, and then of course net income for Kenya grew 24.7%, one of the highest that we have delivered in recent times. Of course, we got benefited from lower debt levels in Kenya and also the lower interest rates because of the macroeconomic changes that has happened. If you recall last year, interest rates were very high. So that's Kenya. Good quality top line growth driven by customers and all KPIs in line with our strategy, and good quality earnings coming from a very disciplined execution. Ethiopia, startup phase, and then our main focus here is to grow our customers, and we have seen that now our 90-day customers touch 13.6 million, and we are growing customers across all voice, mobile data. They're showing up in revenue. These revenue growths are not double digit, they're doubling, more than doubling year over year. Of course on a small base, but they're growing pretty fast. And then mobile data, on the mobile money, which is M-Pesa, we are growing customers, doubling customers, but not necessarily revenue. Revenue is still small because we are in a very early stage of experimenting and giving a lot of promotions to the customers. From the earnings side, from the financial side of Ethiopia, I spoke about top line, more than doubling. What is giving us satisfaction in terms of execution of our strategies on the reduced losses. You've seen that one of our key focus areas is on the EBITDA breakeven in FY27. And the way I unpack the number is, how do you see the EBITDA, full year EBITDA of 15 billion loss? It's like 12.5 billion loss in H1 and 2.7 billion loss in H2. So that gives you the trajectory that the losses are coming down, not only year over year, actually losses are coming down year over year by it's halved, but also on a half year 1 to half year 2, and that's flowing in the net income as well, and that leads to the whole story around how this now shapes up in the way the group numbers are showing up. Strong momentum on the customers. We are now in two countries operation, close to 72 million customers, combining Kenya and Ethiopia. Very strong growth on top line, 11.1% growth, and leading to a significant growth in the net income, and that's what is leading to a, I think, highest ever dividend that Safaricom PLC has ever declared. Of course, this is subject to the board approval. The final dividend, which is 1.15, we paid out 85 cents in the interim dividend, and that's how it shows up. I think the summary, if I summarize this, is coming from a very disciplined execution in both the markets of our strategy. And this is, as I think we mentioned it before, this is the first year of the 5-year strategy board has approved. I hope that answers your questions.
It does. Quite a detailed response. And just curious, when last were you in Addis?
2 weeks back.
All right.
2 weeks back, right? Yeah, 2 weeks back. I was. Okay. Yeah, we spent 2 days. Me and
I was in Addis in April, and quite a lot of work going down there, from construction to. I managed to pass by the office. I didn't get a chance to go in, but you can clearly tell that there seems to be some good buzz around Safaricom Ethiopia, and right now you've turned the corner. I'd like to know what will be defining the profitability path going forward in that market, considering also competition is quite cutthroat with Ethio Telecom.
Yeah. I mean, starting with your first observation is, I think anybody who is visiting for the first time, they probably will not notice, but anybody who is going repeat visits, they will see construction all across. When we entered Ethiopia market, there was a lot of, there are questions around that, why are you entering a market which is not necessarily everybody's favorite, yeah?
Exactly.
So if you think about what was at the point when we entered, we got the license in May, June 2021. It's almost 5 years now we got the license, but of course we are operating now about 3.5 years commercial operation.
Yeah.
A lot have changed, and in the positive direction. I mean, so I think some of these are the macro changes probably you see. A construction probably is one example, but I think there are many other areas. And it's not by chance that Ethiopia is one of the fastest growing market in terms of GDP. Last year, Ethiopia is reporting 9.2% growth. Actually, double the growth of Kenya, if you think about that way. Yeah. So your observation is right. Now, for us, I think how we see is all about what the strategy we have, what's the medium-term outlook that we are committing ourselves, that we've spoken to our stakeholders, investors, analyst community. For Ethiopia, we said that we are in a greenfield operation. This is one of the biggest greenfield which has happened, I don't know for how many years. Like the last greenfield was probably in Myanmar. For a large country of this size of population, you won't hear about a greenfield operation. You'll hear about one company, one telecom buying another company, but not necessarily building a new infrastructure from scratch. So we were in a phase of rolling out, and therefore the building scale. So in terms of a medium-term outlook, that we said that we want to scale this business. Yeah. So we are scaling up, and that we are talking about 15 to 20 million customers.
All right.
To your questions, we are on that trajectory. We have closed 13.6 million. Very soon we will reach 15 million, not far. We said we want around 4,000 base stations when we build, we will be scale business. We are about now 3,500 base stations, not far away from 4,000.
All right.
We said that we're committing the other questions that we have in terms of profitability. We have reconfirmed today of our FY27 break-even, EBITDA break-even milestone. Yeah, that we have reconfirmed today.
All right.
And that coming also, as I told you the number, I think the directionally it's showing more confidence around that we can actually break even.
Fantastic.
And that's happening.
And moving things forward as we get into the next area of focus, we've seen Ethiopia has had quite a number of challenges from a currency devaluation standpoint. And how has this also, in one or the other, impacted on the books? And are you concerned about the currency stability?
So currency is one of the biggest macroeconomic KPI that we have been monitoring. And as I mentioned, actually currency, when we entered the currency, we had a big difference between at which the official rates were and what actually the market rate was. So big, they call the currency reforms, which has happened in FY25. Post that, actually what they call the full convertibility. So the ETB depreciated by more than 100%.
All right.
This financial year, the last financial year, FY26, we have seen more stability of the currency towards the second half of the year. Although I think it was, I would say, ETB to dollar, but ETB to euro, actually, that was more of a global phenomenon. It was not Ethiopia alone, it was also in Kenya. I think globally, euro strengthened against dollar, and that was showing up. So this is one area we monitor very, very closely and becomes one important part of watch out, we can say. The confidence that we have is, I think, from the governments, what they call the reforms. I think the currency is one of the big part of the reforms they've delivered. So at least from what we see now is much better than what we have seen in the past. So trajectory is positive, but of course this is one thing we cannot predict what the future will be, but it has been more stable in the recent times than it was in the past.
And finally, last word in terms of 25 years down the line, the company is still strong, growing. Any prospects of tapping into Mozambique?
That's a good question. So for us, I think the way at Kenya, when we started one of our strategic pillar was geographical expansion. I think as part of geographical expansion, we went to Ethiopia. I think the capital allocation becomes part of a bigger strategy of whether you can go beyond what we have done now. I think Ethiopia, we need to first deliver and execute. 25 is a long period of time. Things, you cannot predict what could happen. Yeah. But we always look for opportunities whether we can expand. But right now, I think our focus is to build the business in Ethiopia. That's what we are focused now.
Great. Thank you so much, Dilip, for your insights. And we'll be keeping a close watch just to see how things build up ahead of your AGM.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right. Well, that's why we wrap it up. Thank you for your valid company. Remember, you can always subscribe and share your thoughts on these very important conversations that we continue to have here on the platform. My name is Abi Agina. Until next time, bye-bye for now.